Well, it's been a little while, but here we are back with a brand new show. It's late, and I'm standing here in the middle of Soho. Luckily, it's not peeing with rain. I thought it might have been. But before we start, let's roll the titles. So, here we are, outside, in Soho. Just behind me, you can't really see it, but if you look closely, you might be able to see a bit of Carnaby Street. And this is the home of the new show, Whale On. So, come with me now as we go into the studios, up here and over this way. And we have a whole host of guests for you, and some entertainment, and the sort of program where you never really know what is going to happen. That's the first time I've ever seen anybody get applause for washing up. I know it's supposed to be a cheap budget program, but I mean, you don't have to do all this.
I'm aiming to be a soap star.
Are you? I think you'll do very well. Have you dried it as well? No?
No, well, I couldn't find the glasses and dishes under there, so I've just been fiddling.
Okay, you've just been fiddling, I see. Playing at it.
Playing at it.
Playing at it, right. Would you like to come with me?
Thank you, I'd love to.
Let's go this way.
How are you?
I'm very well, actually. It's very nice, isn't it? It's very small.
It's
The smallest studio we could find in London. Here are the... Do I really have yellow on that? These are people all around the studio from the St. Martin's School of Art who are very kindly painting the scenery for us as we carry on with the programme, because we thought that would be a rather nice way of doing it. Cleo has been away. Where have you been?
I've been in Pretoria filming a fab show called Tropical Heat.
You have, haven't you?
Yes.
And it's sort of the next dynasty, I'm told.
Well, no, it's an action-packed show. It's great. It's going on... prime time television, and
in South Africa?
In America.
Oh, in America, because I was going to say nobody'd see it if it was in South Africa.
No, well, it's a huge show in many places, and it was great fun to do. The people were brilliant. The sun shone. I even
there
to get a little colour, and now I'm wearing rubber gloves.
Yes. Well, you see, that's it. This business is very fickle. 1 minute you're in a big production, the next minute you're washing up. But let's have a little look. We've got some now. I think we can see. What's it called?
Tropical Heat.
Tropical Heat.
I already told the police everything.
This is my best friend's life we're talking about here.
Your best friend broke into my house and stole my things.
What if I prove he didn't?
I really don't care. Someone did, and someone will pay. If you can't do the time, don't do the crime. Isn't that what you people say?
That's one of the things we say. I'm biting my tongue so I don't say some others.
I don't have to stand in my own house and take your insults.
I'm sure you could go get them all over town. Tell me, Maggie May, you ever think of anyone else but yourself?
Only when I have to.
Very good. That was... Hang on, that wasn't your voice. That was dubbed on, wasn't it?
No, that was me. I am an actress.
Are you?
Yes.
That was American.
Yes, but that's what actresses do.
Now, why was it filmed in South Africa?
Because it's a great location, and they have exactly what they need there. The weather's reliable, the people are fantastic, and it doesn't...
What about all the problems? I mean, seriously, South Africa can't be the sort of place you go and relax and enjoy a sort of couple of weeks stay, can it?
Well, I had a wonderful time. I was there to work for a short time, and I thoroughly enjoyed it, and everyone I met was friendly and great, and I haven't got anything horrible to say, I'm afraid.
Will you be going back or not? Or is that the end of it?
Hopefully, yes. They have actually mentioned about me coming back to do some more, so hopefully I will next year.
So you're the sort of Joan Collins?
Well, I'm a bit of a battle axe. I was sort of made out of steel a bit, but I was a baddie in it, which was nice to play. I'm sick of being nice.
I have never known you be nice at all. What do you mean you're sick of being nice?
Well, nice is such a creepy little word. I like to be evil with pointy eyebrows.
Okay, now, come over. We're going to go and meet somebody else. One of the things about the new show is that I'm hoping we can bring to you people who have never appeared on television before. And if there's something that you would like to do on the show, please get in touch with us. We'll give you a phone number a little later on, and who knows, maybe we can discover some fantastic new talent. I think we may have done that now. Would you like to join me over here?
Certainly.
Okay, I've got all sorts of things on here. I'll explain those a little bit later on. Now, this is a gentleman called Ian James Lloyd. Have we got a little microphone over him here?
Oh.
Ian,
hello there.
how are you?
Pleased
Very
to meet
nice
you.
to see you. Right. Now, Ian, what a pillock you look.
Very kind, very kind.
By occupation, you do what?
I'm a town crier.
You're a town crier.
One of the youngest ones, I'm afraid.
You must be one of
I
them.
am, yes.
And do you sort of bellow the...
Bellow-
you have to get down. Can you get down?
More of a
Join me,
crier.
join me.
These are real nails you're lying on.
They are indeed.
Yes.
I have a scar.
You have.
When
Yes.
I was putting them in last night.
Can we get just a, people don't believe this sort of thing. Right, okay. That's fine. Those are real nails.
Real
and
nails.
your party piece to make you a television superstar is...
I'm going to lay on this bed of nails and sing Dance Little Lady to this lady here.
You want her to stand on you?
On my chest would be brilliant.
Oh, well, yes, no, stand on his chest. I don't,
Not at all. Do you want to hold her hand?
Shall
Yes.
I take off my shoes?
No, use those as
use
well.
them.
Go for the whole thing.
What
All
if,
right.
what if I
we see-
lacerate you and
You
go
won't.
through your ribs?
I've
you
been
think?
practicing.
Yeah. If we see...
Oh,
don't look.
I'm terribly
If you're
nervous.
scared,
Don't look.
You can stand on James.
No,
no,
I can't do this. You
Can't
might
you?
squash.
No, go on.
Will
It's
you
okay.
stand here and I'll
It's all right. It's okay.
Okay.
Fine.
Oh
Get
my
up there.
God. Oh my
Okay.
God.
All right.
Oh, you okay?
Okay.
Oh,
Right.
it's a nightmare.
All right.
Right.
Now, hang on.
Yep.
And now, you're going to
Can't
do
let
this...
go of me.
Yep.
There's blood, isn't there, coming out of the corner of your mouth?
No, it's
okay,
my
fine.
ear.
Right, try, Cleo.
I feel so awful.
That's my
Right,
microphone,
I'm
Cleo.
singing.
You're going to sing this in a Noel Cow...
Noel Coward
Noel
song?
Coward.
Yep.
Fine, okay.
Okay.
Well, yes.
Are we ready? Count me in?
Yeah, okay.
Oh, don't, because you can't let go of me.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Dance, 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 little lady, youth is fleeting to the rhythm beating in your mind. Quick breath. Dance, 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 little lady, so impressed with second best, no rest you'll ever find. Time and tide and trouble, you okay? Never, never wait. Let the cauldron bubble justify your fate. Dance, 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 little lady, dance, 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 little lady. Leave tomorrow behind. Thank you.
Yeah! Well, yeah, I think she's okay. I'm sorry about that. Cleo fell off the man singing on the nails there, but he could be a big TV star in the future. And if you'd like to be on the program, then all you have to do is get in touch with us, and I'll tell you how a little later on. Now we'll move on, and the next part of the program we're going to actually talk about the press, and we have a phone vote for you as well. We'd like to ask you the question: should the British press be allowed to invade people's privacy? And coming up on the screen, there we are. Yes, they should be allowed to invade people's privacy whenever they like. 0891 335536. Or if you don't agree, you think perhaps they shouldn't, then 0891 335537. So those are the numbers. We'll remind you of them a little later on. But let me introduce you to some of my guests who are involved in the press. Well, used to be involved. Roy Greenslade, former editor of the Mirror.
Yes.
Until you fell out with a certain gentleman who had a penchant for sailing.
Yes. And not so good at swimming, I'm afraid.
Yes. Max Clifford, of course, who is well-known and bosom buddy of David Mellor. Paul Connew, is that how I pronounce your name?
That's correct,
Paul
yeah.
Connew, who has been shining a lot before we started, but they damped him down now, and is the deputy editor of the News of the World.
That's right.
And David Wigg, who is the entertainment editor of the Express newspaper.
Hello, James.
Hi. Now, I think, first of all, do you feel that you ever intrude, let me start with Roy, into people's private business?
Well, I think you can't help it. In the pursuance of a legitimate story, I think it's quite possible that you will intrude into people's private lives. But that, in a sense, is the kind of press freedom that we should have, because we should have that freedom on occasion as long as we don't misuse it. There are times when we do, and we can't help it. I see that your dog, your news hound, as I might call him, agrees with me.
I think that's very good, actually. He seems to be agreeing with everything you say, Roy.
Most people do, sensibly, James, I think.
Let me ask Paul, because Paul, as a deputy editor, you haven't fallen out with anybody yet, so you're still in place.
What a bet.
Working for a newspaper that has the biggest circulation in the country.
In Europe.
In Europe, that everybody slags off, but somebody somewhere must be buying it. Do you ever get upset? Do you ever have sleepless nights about some of the people you have been rude about, that you may have ruined their lives, or...
Very rarely. We don't set out to ruin people's lives, but sometimes
But it makes a
people
good
are
story
upset.
if you do.
We're not that cynical. Your question really should be, do the British people want politicians to legislate for what they should be allowed to buy? That's the real question, not the loaded one you're... I think
let's go back to... We'll talk about that a bit later, perhaps, but, I mean, are there really cases where you would say to your journalist, no, I'm sorry, we're not putting that in, it's going to cause too much distress to those
Yes, there are, quite often. You'd be surprised how often.
Really?
Yes.
Max, I mean, you've made a living out of getting people to sort of, or you publicise certain people, don't you? You've had, before Antonio, you had quite a few people going. Now, you have to work out a way that's going to get into the press.
Well, yes, James, but you see, a lot of my time is spent keeping things out of the press, and has been for 25 years.
But it's more profitable to get them in.
No, not at all. I mean, most of my clients are major stars, and most of the time I'm trying to protect them and keeping things out.
Oh, so they do things that you think the newspapers would like to get hold of?
Oh, yeah, all the time.
Really?
Do you want me to tell you something?
I'd love you to, yes. Who shall we start with?
Well, funnily enough, yes, I've been hearing some stories about you.
Yes, but I'm not one of your clients. Well, no, I wanted you to tell me about one of your clients.
About that later.
Oh, okay.
Well, what about...
I wouldn't have to sleep with a politician, would I?
It could be arranged. Because from what I understand, most of them are quite up for it.
Are they? No, we'll find out about that later.
Well, so Paul told me anyway, earlier on.
Do you feed stories, David? Do you get people to...
No, we guard our stories. I mean, you want an exclusive, so you keep it to yourself. But, I mean, this thing of do we invade their privacy, I mean, I deal with actors, stars, and actors and actresses.
But we only want to read the...
Hedda Hopper, she summed it up when she said to a young actress who complained about her getting into her private life, and she said, darling, you sold your private life when you signed that film contract. You can't have it both ways. You can't set yourself up as an idol on the screen. I mean, look at Madonna. She absolutely uses the media to hype up her price. That's why she's making a multimillionaire. Yeah, when she arrived at Heathrow Airport, she informed everybody, and then they try to run over the photographers.
Yeah,
well, I mean, they complain when they get called the poison pens.
But if they hadn't tried to run over the photographers, they wouldn't have got so many stories into the newspaper. I can understand that.
But they would.
When you're Paul, let's go back to the news of the world, because you're quite keen. I mean, Vickers in massage parlours is the sort of I was going to say the daily bread, really, of the newspaper. I mean, and those people that you set up with stories like that, I mean, that is ruining their lives, and they're not celebrities. They just... I think you can
argue that many parishioners wouldn't like their vicar in a massage parlour, and I think they're entitled to know. They may forgive him, they may not, but I think they're entitled to know.
Okay, we're going to carry on with this a little later and invite audience members to participate as well. Thank you for the moment, gentlemen. Come here. Come on, close. Right. Perhaps there's something you'd like to tell us, or there's a little bit of a moan you'd like to get off your chest. You can call in, of course, and we'll get back to you. 0839 is the number. Can we get this on the screen? 0839 500 806. Leave your message, and we'll get back to you. 0839 500 806, and who knows, you could be on the programme next week. Now, what's on the program? Ah, right. You're going to enjoy this, actually, all of you. And Max, there may be something in this for you, so pay particular interest to this. One of the features we're going to have on the program is a gentleman called Jerry Hayes. This is Jerry Hayes. Give him a nice round of applause. And
James. What? James, you've forgotten the bed of nails.
The bed of nails?
Do you remember? Roy offered to lie on the bed of nails. Do you remember?
Did you, Roy?
Yes, of course he did. For the Maxwell Fund, to look after little Kev and little Ian, because they need the money.
Oh.
Yes. You remember? Yes. Or is that going to be later?
Love. Now, you think this is a point in the programme where we introduce you to a new comic, don't you? But no, you'd be wrong, because this gentleman here, who is, well, may I say, I feel a little underdressed, actually. Very nice silk.
Well, it's 1 o'clock in the morning.
Marks and Spencer's?
Of course.
Very nice indeed. This gentleman is, believe it or not, an MP. No, it's not funny. I mean, Jerry Hayes is PPS to the Northern Ireland office.
That's right.
Parliamentary Private Secretary.
That's right.
Most famous gaffe of all for Jerry was...
he stood
up to speak on the platform at a party conference and forgot his speech.
No, completely untrue. I don't usually use notes or anything like that. And I just got up and I'd had a very good evening the night before with someone actually from the News of the World. Sorry, Paul.
It would have been a good evening.
And I forgot my lines for 2 seconds. But you see, the people like that, they killed me.
Did they?
They killed me. Mind you, I
we'll
probably
talk about
deserve it.
later.
I
But
probably deserve
What
it.
you're going to do, though, you're going to come in and... Well, of course. Roy, is that not like the pot calling the kettle black, Roy? I mean, you are sitting here too, aren't you?
Yes.
Anyway, Jerry's going to come in and spill the beans, because, you know, imagine he's a politician, he goes to the toilet in the House of Commons.
It's hard to believe, but true.
And sitting next to him will be other people, maybe some of those people that we all see on the television. He's going to come in here and tell us all about it. So be careful in the House of Commons. Is anything interesting going on at the moment or not?
No, not really. It's all rather dull at the moment. It's all rather dull.
You have to go back to when you weren't on holiday.
But has it been a good year? I mean, it's been like King Lear without the jokes over the last few weeks.
Well, for your... Your party hasn't done terribly well since you won the election,
It's been a little bit tricky, hasn't it? We haven't quite had the plague of frogs, apart from Mr. Delors. But it's pretty grim. It's pretty... No, that's unkind. I don't mean it. He's a wonderful, warm, vibrant human being.
Yeah.
But it's been a bit grim, hasn't it?
You think so?
Yes, I think so.
I think we've got into this situation where we actually have forgotten who the politicians are there. They're supposed to be there for us.
Yes.
To do what we tell them.
Yes.
Look after our interests.
Yes, absolutely right.
Yes,
But
it seems to have twisted round the other way.
No,
to me.
come on, let he who is without sin cast the first access card.
Poor old Norman Lamont. I mean, yes, but now Norman Tebbit, you had a run-in with him, didn't you? Tell us about that.
He's a wonderful man, Norman.
You
Tebbit.
like Norman?
Yes, of
These are
course.
people in the same party.
Yes. I mean, admittedly, he did make his famous Ich bin ein Dickhead speech at the party conference, which rather angered one or two of us. But you see, I remember Norman giving me lots of lectures on party loyalty, because I used to ask for things like more money for the health service, which in those days was not the sort of thing one asked for. And anyway, he got and made this wonderful speech. He was speaking to the party conference, being incredibly disloyal to the Prime Minister. And I put my arms round his neck in a loving, brotherly way and said, Norman, just remember those lectures in party loyalty you used to give to me? It didn't mean an awful lot, did they? Yeah, he says, but I was supporting the Prime Minister. I said, yes, which one, matey, which one? But we love him.
Oh, dear. Right, finally, before we go into the break, I want to know this little bit about when you hit... And Max, you'll be interested in this. When you hit David Mellor.
No,
he hit you.
No,
he hit
David
you.
No, David and I are the best of chums. It's just that when I first met him, I said,
You were
hi.
going to back out then,
Well,
weren't
everyone
you?
thought I was a Labour MP, you see, because they wanted to pay
because of the way you're dressed.
And no, I didn't dress like that. It was the beard, you see.
Yeah.
And I said, hi, I'm Jerry Hayes. Oh, yes, he says, nice to see you. Boom.
Oh,
I said,
that's
what'd you do
nasty.
that for? He said, well, I just wanted to hit a new member.
Okay, thank you very much indeed for the moment. Jerry Hayes, ladies and gentlemen, that's nice. Let me remind you of our televote on tonight's programme. If you'd like to vote, the numbers coming up on the screen, there they are. Do you think the British press should be allowed to invade people's privacy? 0891 3355 66 if you 36 if you do, or 0891 3355 37 if you don't. We'll be back in just a moment. Thank you. Sound like cannon and ball. Thank you. Welcome back to Whale On. I always thought it should have been Whale Off when we went into the commercial break, but never mind. This is Rat, who, I don't know, he just happens to be hanging around outside, so we thought we'd bring him in and do a bit there. You all right, Rat?
Aye.
Yeah? How long can you carry on doing that for?
Only about 4 hours.
4 hours?
Aye.
Oh. Oh, well, fine. You dropped anything?
No, not yet.
At least not one of those, anyway. Good, anyway, let me just, before we carry on with this exciting part of the programme, let me remind you of our televote. Should the British press be allowed to invade people's privacy? If you think they should, 0891 3355 36. And if you don't, 0891 3355 37. We'll have the results of this poll in a later programme, because, of course, we have millions of people there just taking all those millions of calls that are coming in, so it'll be a true referendum. Thank you very much indeed. I think I shall now move on to the next part of the programme, which is... Oh, golly, right, I'll walk over here. Thank you, Rat. Rat, ladies and gentlemen! Now... Whoops. Now, welcome... Gary Jacobs. Gary's an interesting chap. Not only do we have funny-looking MPs on the show, but we also have funny-looking solicitors.
Where?
I don't know, but I think sitting round here on the throne. And we thought what we would do is, because unless you happen to be very wealthy or very poor, getting legal advice now is almost impossible, isn't it?
Well, unless you're a government minister, of course.
And then you get it for nothing.
Then you
or
get it for
they throw in
nothing.
a few
Everyone
quid as
else
well.
pays.
Yes.
Well, the reality is this government, I think, has taken steps to prevent the majority of people who would have got legal aid from getting it for crime and for civil procedure.
Well, we don't have to worry about that now, because we've got you here. We've got some ordinary, everyday members of the public.
Yes.
Well, no, we couldn't get them, so we got some friends of yours in the audience with questions for you, and you're going to deal with them.
Well, I'll try to do my best.
Let's start off. Who should we start off with?
Let's start off with this gentleman here.
Good evening.
What's your name?
Mr. North.
Mr. North.
Yeah.
Right.
I'd just like to know that I've been separated for about 9 months and finding it very difficult to get in touch with my son, who's 14, because the telephone number's been changed and also the letters that I write to him.
So you think they've actually moved on? You don't know how to...
No, I don't think they moved on. I just think that the letters that I've been sending there he's not receiving.
Well, 9 months is an awful long time to wait not to see your son, isn't it?
That's right.
Didn't you think about going to see a solicitor to bring court proceedings? You can actually apply for contact to your son, even though there's not been any other proceedings under the Children Act of 1989. Anyone want to hear about acts? Not really.
No.
What you should be doing,
not.
what you should be doing,
Just tell
I'll
him
tell you what you
do.
should be doing, because I'm going to tell you.
Yeah.
You've let your son down for the last 9 months. You should have been to see a solicitor the day your wife said you can't see that child. And then that child will be listened to, you will be listened to, and the solicitor would have made sure that you didn't have to come here and start asking questions like that. You should have been doing something 9 months ago, and I find that very, very sad.
And will he get it done? I mean, if he goes into
If he went to see a
are they going to
solicitor...
charge him a fortune?
No, he could get legal aid.
For this he could?
They're not interested in the merits of the case. They're going to do a means test on him.
Okay.
If you're unemployed, no problem.
Yeah. And if you're not unemployed, check your job in and you'll get it for nothing.
And if you feel I'm being, if you
okay.
feel I'm being mean, it's because I am.
Yeah, okay. Thank you very much indeed for that. Let's go on to the next one. We've got somebody
Got
here
a
called,
lady here.
Sarah Burt.
Sarah. Right.
Hi, I recently bought a pair of shoes from a market.
Oh,
It'll teach you, won't it?
Yeah, it will
You come
actually.
all the way here to talk about your shoes from the market, Sarah.
Well, when I got home, I opened up the box and there were 2 left shoes in there.
You go back and demand your rights.
Thank you, thank you.
Well, these are the jokes.
Dear me.
Well, basically speaking, you haven't got a pair of shoes. You're entitled to your money back. You can go back and say, would you please give me a right shoe to go with the left shoe? And that's it.
What
That's
happens if
your
they say, oh, we won't give you your money back?
Well, then you can take a claim in the small claims court. It's county court. They've just put their fees up, so it's going to be more expensive than it used to be. But it's only a few quid.
Could I make a layman's suggestion?
Yes,
Just one.
yes.
And shoot me down in flames if you
That's
don't
all
like
right.
it.
You're my clerk tonight. You do what you like.
I go back to the shop, and if they refuse to change them, say, I'm going to stand here and I'm going to scream until you do. And I'm going to tell everybody in this shop that it's crap.
Now, that I agree with.
That
I
would
actually agree with. But I
Okay.
don't say scream. What I say is get a little placard and walk up and down. Walk up and down. These people only sell left feet.
Right, let's take one more. Steve King. Yes, Steve.
Good evening. My problem's dog's crap opposite where I live.
Don't mince your words.
This is as it is. There's a road, there's a green. My children play on this green. And people let their dogs, they use it as a dog toilet. They just go out there and they collect the crap and...
What can you do, apart from shoveling it up, throwing it
picking
into
it
next
up? I
door
don't really want to do
neighbours
that.
Yes.
You know,
well, what's
can
your
you do?
question?
What can you do?
Can I legally? Can anything be done? Can I? Is there? Do you phone the police? Do you get in touch with the council?
What do you think the police are going to do? Put it away and
pick it
get
up,
it back
I
if
don't know.
it's not claimed within 14 days?
That's what I'm asking you, Gary.
Well, it can be a nuisance if you're treading it. That's one form of action. The reality of the situation is it's for the local authority to sort out. It is an offence to foul footways or pathways and parks, but it's bylaws. The reality of the situation is what you should do is go up to them and say, with the greatest of respect, you've made an awful mess there. You could harm my children. They could catch a disease.
So what does he do, Gary?
What does he do? He goes around and scoops it up. What I do?
Scoop it up.
Scoop it up.
Then complain.
Then complain.
Then
Complain.
Okay, thank you for the moment. We've got to stop there. We will be having some more, and nice round of applause for Gary Jacobs, please. Thank you very much indeed. Come with me back over here. Can we just stop there? These are all lovely people around here from the St. Martin's School of Arts. How are you? I don't think we probably haven't got a microphone anywhere near you, so you can talk into there.
Very well, thanks.
Good. This is not quite that close. This is me, is it?
Yes.
I
Special
always,
version of you.
No, it's a lovely version because I always wanted to be that thin. That's lovely. That's nice. Give them a nice round of applause. Look at all these wonderful things around here. We'll see some of them. Whilst I'm messing around over here, can we get a shot of Jerry Hayes over there sitting next to Danny the transvestite? That's a Tory MP and transvestite. Can we see that? Very nice. Good. Right. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to Maggie Kirkpatrick.
Hello, darling. Bill?
Now, Maggie.
Look what I've found.
And may I say, they look very nice. I wonder what you got up to late at night in the prison.
It's not leather, but, you know, I mean, rubber's much more in these days, isn't it?
I like rubber.
Why is everybody chewing gum on your program? They all look as though they're at a rave party. They're both chewing.
We're giving some of these away later, so we...
Oh, I nicked one.
Yeah.
Is that all right?
Yes, you can. There's no hospitality, but we're giving everybody who appears on the show...
terribly kind.
...a packet of chewing gum. Maggie, as you probably are well aware, plays Joan the Freak in Prisoner, Cell Block H.
Yeah.
What do you mean, boo? You all watch it.
Oh, you're supposed to. I mean, it's the old Panto thing. He's the villain.
Are you not in Panto?
No.
Well, you're the only Australian actress who's over here that isn't.
Yes, I know, and I paid my own fare, too, to get here.
Well, you're ridiculous.
Just to come and see you.
Oh, well, that was nice.
Yeah,
that was nice. You can have these.
I'm a nice person.
Anabolic steroids.
Oh, God,
okay.
no.
Just for coming.
Oh, just for being here, you mean, don't you?
Yes.
Thank you.
Every time I talk to somebody from a soap in Australia and ask, you play with the balls, carry on.
I love your set here.
It's nice, isn't it? They always... Sorry about that, Willie. They always seem to have finished a couple of years ago, and it's very upsetting to find you're not actually doing it now.
Perhaps I belong to a race of has-beens.
Are you in it? You're in it now, aren't you?
Oh, here on your screens, yes.
But not in real life?
In 1986, I finished it. Have I got talcum powder around my mouth?
No, you're right.
No, because... And I do mean talcum powder, because I've been...
Blowing?
Yes, blowing into your rubber glove, which gave me a big thrill. No, 1986 I finished that
So what have you been doing? I mean, that's 6,
What have I been doing?
Yeah.
I've done about 3 or 4 other television series, 2 of which have been seen here, Richmond Hill and Betty's Bunch.
And you were in Home and Away?
Oh, yes,
That's embarrassing, I know.
Yes,
but,
the auntie from Hill, Auntie Jean.
Yeah. Do you never play nice people?
I play lovely people.
Yeah.
In the theatre. But nobody ever sees that because, you know, you're on a little screen and there are 10 or 15 million people looking at you and they think, oh, that's all she can do. No, I have done musicals and I have played nice mums, usually nice working class mums.
I was just looking here, I said that Prisoner has been, it's a new tour, Prisoner has been watched by 39 million viewers in the USA and 110 further viewers worldwide.
Don't you love that? I thought that.
Only
110 viewers.
Only 110 worldwide. Is it popular in America?
I read your notes, isn't that gorgeous?
It's nice.
It was, but I don't think it was networked as much as it is here. It was sort of in bits and pieces over America. But, it was watched there. England didn't discover Prisoner.
Okay, now, culture is not that strong, is it, in Australia?
Pardon?
No, of course it is. And I thought on the programme we would bring some culture.
There was movement at the station, for the word had passed around, but the cult from Old Regret had got away.
Thank you, Maggie.
Thank you.
Right, okay, a little bit of culture now. We thought we'd bring on a guy for you who is actually going to explain opera within 3 or 4 minutes. So for those of you who've never been to the opera, you want to impress your friends, go along there and pretend you know all about it. Please welcome Alan Seabright. Alan, are you ready?
Yes, James. Turandot. Nerson Dorma, which means none shall sleep, has become so popular in the last 2 or 3 years since that football match, remember? The opera Turandot is an erotic and exotic piece by Puccini. It's the last opera that he ever wrote. He never lived to see it performed at La Scala in Milan. It tells the story of an ice-cold Chinese princess who has sworn a terrible vengeance against men, but she will only marry a man of royal lineage who can answer her 3 enigmas. When the opera begins, there are crowds standing outside the imperial palace, waiting to see if the latest victim will be reprieved, since he's obviously failed the enigmas. And in that crowd is an old blind man and a young girl and a very handsome prince. Indeed, a prince, an unknown prince. It becomes very clear that the blind man is an exiled king, and the girl who has helped him has obviously been madly in love and is madly in love with the young prince. Suddenly, Princess Turandot appears in the moonlight and makes the signal of death. The young prince standing in that audience is determined that he will go in for the enigmas. Suddenly, ping, pang, and pong, I kid you not, 3 imperial ministers appear in front of the prince and tell him he's mad. What is this woman? She's nothing but a woman with a crown on her head, nice arms and legs, good bosom, but not even flesh that's good for eating. Go away, youth. Go and marry anybody. Go and have 1,000 women. Just leave China alone, because if you bang that gong, you've had it. 3 bangs on the gong, and your death will not be long. Well, he does bang the gong, and in the second act, the princess appears in all her glory in front of her father. Now, her father's rather sympathetic. He's the Emperor Altum. He tries to dissuade the youth. He says, go away. 3 times, he tells him. And 3 times the prince says, no, I'm going to try my fortune. Finally, the princess tells us why she hates men. Because she is the reincarnation of a princess called Lu Ling, who was raped and tortured many centuries before. And for this reason, she refuses ever to be married. Well, she asks the 3 questions, and the prince wins. But she doesn't want to give in, although she's very attracted to him. She doesn't want to give in, and he says, okay, I give you 1 question. Tell me my name by morning, and I will forfeit my life. In the last act, they torture the little girl, Liu, because they believe that she indeed knows the name, and she commits suicide rather than tell. When the prince and the princess are confronted with one another, he accuses her of being a princess of death. But suddenly, when she says, don't come near me, he embraces her and she begins to melt. She starts to cry. But before the dawn arrives, he tells his name. She says, right, Kalaf, come before the people with me. Is she going to destroy him? There is the emperor on his throne. As she says, august father, I know the name of the stranger. His name is love. And with that, there is tremendous rejoicing. So you see, all opera doesn't end tragically. It's a wonderful story. It's a tremendously difficult thing to sing. And I've loved it since I was about 8 years old. And I hope you will too.
Alan Seabright. Now, Alan, interestingly enough, Alan has won 2 Emmys recently, one for Callas Sings Again, and the most recently another for the film biography of Jose Carreras. So seriously, very successful gentleman. We're in the presence of greatness.
Opera makes me so sad.
No, it mustn't. It mustn't. Let's lighten
I must be brave.
Lighten the atmosphere. Have another piece of chewing gum.
Thank you so much.
Okay, that's lovely.
So kind.
Right, competition time. And you know, all programs have competitions. They give away prizes. Usually they give away sort of just the odd CD or a packet of chewing gum, which is what you thought we were going to give away. But no, we are not. We're going to give away some serious prizes on this program. Now, first of all, I'll ask you the question, then I'll tell you what the prizes are going to be. The question is, the following people have been hounded by the press. First of all, Fergie. This is just to help you. That's Fergie over there. Okay. Madonna. We got something to remind you of Madonna. A little bondage. Okay.
Thank God, I thought it was for me. I was so worried.
No, that's very good. Also, Sinead O'Connor.
Yes.
Right. Sinead O'Connor there. And Norman Lamont. Norman Lamont there. Okay. Right. Norman's fallen on the floor again. Right. All you have to do is answer this question. Which one found out that there was a sex therapist living in their house? Very difficult question. Which one found out that there was a sex therapist living in their house? Was it Fergie, Madonna, Sinead O'Connor, or Norman Lamont? Ring that number and leave your answer along with your name, address, and telephone number. 0891 900 007. And the prize. The prize. Well, where's the prize? Oh, here we are. This is the 20 Summer 93 catalogue, and you can choose any holiday, if you're the winner, any holiday out of this. Fantastic. Look at that. Holidays all over the place, all over the world. Look. Oh, look. Have a little look. See? Very nice.
Holiday in Australia.
A holiday in Australia. I don't know if there's Australia there, but it's all over the place. You get a holiday for 2 weeks for 2 people. Holiday insurance thrown in, travel, some excursions, the whole business. So that's good. There we are. That's the number, 0891 900 007. That's the first prize. We've also got some other things. This is the first show. These speakers here. Have you seen it? Can you get a look at that? You back off over there and have a look at this one down here. There we are. Can we cut over there? Can you get up and down? That's lovely, isn't it? It's so long and black. Very nice. Very nice indeed. You get that as well if you enter the competition and win. We've got here from a band you're just about to see, the Franken Waters. We've got everything signed by them. T-shirts, CDs. Did I drop that on your foot? So sorry about that. And that's lovely. And we've also, now this is nice. This was, oh, hang on. No, that's okay. That's all right. There we are. There we are. I think we should give the cameraman an Oscar for that, really. This is nice, Maggie. Do you like that?
Oh, Oh, lovely.
You think it's ice cream, don't you?
Oh, yes.
No, this is elephant shit, actually. And Chester Sue found a very good way of making...
we know?
Well, I don't know. I mean, I wouldn't open it, but...
It's signed.
Is it signed? Oh, it's signed by an elephant too. Oh, that's
Mick
lovely.
Jones the elephant, yes.
So there we are. If you would like to enter the competition, we hope you will. The number coming up again, can we do that again? Let me just tell you. Oh, there we are, 0891 900 007. Right, little music on the show. Ladies and gentlemen, please, formerly from Cork, but now from the Wimbledon YMCA, the Frank and Walters. Hello, welcome back. Final part of the show. Now, let me just say, all the ladies and gentlemen from St. Martin's College, it's Central St. Martin's. I mustn't get the name wrong or they'll be in trouble. They're doing a wonderful job here. Let me remind you of the competition very quickly. Okay, let me get rid of Fergie, Madonna, Sinead O'Connor, and unfortunately, I've lost Norman Lamont, but he's around here on the floor somewhere. Bless you. Leave it there, and never mind. Don't forget, if you enter the competition and answer this one simple question, the phone number coming up on the screen, which of the following people found that their house was being used by a sex therapist, Fergie, Madonna, Sinead O'Connor, or Norman Lamont? And amongst other things, you will win a holiday for two out of the 20 Summer 93 catalogue for two people for 2 weeks, everything paid for. Fantastic. So ring that number now. We were talking about the press. John Bennett is with me. John Bennett and Margaret, his wife, over the other side here. Diane and Bob in the middle, I will introduce you to in a moment. First of all, let me take you back to the story of Jennifer's ear. During the last election, seems so long ago now, doesn't it? You may remember that they got into a bit of a thing. And did you mean it to happen like that, John?
We did not mean it to happen like that, James. Definitely not, no.
Because the way I saw it was that you and your lovely wife, Margaret, over here, were at each other's throats, and I could see a divorce on the horizon. So could all of us in the papers.
We were at each other's throats because we have differing political views, and I think that, in a way, caused a lot of interest in the press. But, I mean, basically, we were caught up in something which should never have happened, and we blame very fairly and squarely two newspapers for that.
And they used your daughter... Or was it the newspapers, or was it the political parties who used it?
No, the newspapers were at fault because they acquired information which they should never have had. They knew it was obtained from underhand sources, and they printed our daughter's name, and they printed details of her medical case history without any prior consent from her parents, and that we deplore.
Tell me about some of the problems that caused, Margaret.
Well, suddenly we were in the centre of a political storm. The general election campaign had been really dead, and all of a sudden we seemed to liven it up. We had the press camping out on our doorsteps. They realised there was a gulf between John and me on politics. They tried to prise us apart. Our daughter's photograph was on the front page of every paper, and it was absolutely a nightmare.
Did they try and invent stuff or not? They didn't try and invent. Did they try and put words in your mouth?
They tried to put words in your mouth. They didn't invent stuff, but what they did that I objected to strongly was that they delved around into our private lives to try and find juicy things to print about us.
So you think that the British press should not be allowed to invade people's privacy like that?
Well, let's be clear about this. In actual fact, one of our primary complaints was inaccuracy in the original stories, and that we did complain about, and we made a complaint to the Press Complaints Commission. Putting a complaint to the Press Complaints Commission is a bit like that plot from Turandot that you played earlier. I mean, you haven't just got to know the answer to the three enigmas. You've got to do a damn sight better than that to get a complaint heard.
Let's introduce Bob Borzello. Bob? Borzello. Now, Bob, you're American but adopted Brit because you've been here since 1966. Right. You spend your life upsetting the newspapers.
Well, I spend a lot of time. I have to make a living sometimes, but I spend a lot of time. Upsetting newspapers. Looking at what they're doing, as it concerns the general public. I was particularly interested in the 80s in how the press treated race.
Did they go too far?
Well, I thought they did. I thought that the press, for example, used words like Paki, Pakistani, or Dago, or Chink, and I objected to that. I particularly objected to the use of describing people by their ethnic origins or color in crime stories when it wasn't necessary.
Okay, Diane here is a slightly different case. Diane, you actually developed a professional relationship with Peter Sutcliffe. Explain exactly how you did that. Peter Sutcliffe, I should remind people they're not sure, was also known as the Yorkshire Ripper.
I'm a handwriting analyst, and I was employed by West Yorkshire Police to work on the case some 14 years ago. Since then, as part of my research, I have developed a relationship with Peter Sutcliffe. And at that point, the interest starts.
And the press got hold of this?
The press have got hold of whatever they could get hold of. Mostly they didn't understand.
And has that upset your life? Tell me if it's caused you problems.
The problems it's caused me personally have been more a case of being confronted with the lack of utter irresponsibility. It's what I have seen that has happened.
Let's go to Paul, the deputy editor of the News of the World, and can we get over there to Paul? I think we can. Paul, how do you defend these sort of allegations?
Well, actually, none of these actually concern my paper directly.
No, I didn't say they did, Paul, but I
no,
thought
but
you'd
in
be quite
general
good to,
terms, I think in the case of the Bennetts, I do feel that they are really being a little bit unfair on the media here.
You didn't cover the Bennett story at all?
We did, but we weren't involved.
Yes,
we weren't involved in the initial revelation of the child's name.
Yeah.
But having said that it did emerge, both from politicians too. There were the family themselves had allowed their daughter to be used. Now I know you didn't actually allow to be identified.
Let's find out, Margaret. Did you allow your daughter to be used in this way?
Absolutely
Were you working for the
not.
Tory party?
I was not working for the Tory party. I am a Tory, but I was only working for the Tory party in canvassing and that sort of thing. We didn't allow our daughter's name to be used. I think John could probably tell you more about it.
This is part of the perpetuation of a myth, and this gentleman is perpetuating it right now. We did not allow our daughter's name to be used. We did not allow her case to be used, and her case did not form part of the election broadcast.
Paul?
Well, I would differ there in the sense that, correct me if I'm wrong, but surely her case anonymously was supplied to the Labour Party.
Was it anonymously? Did you anonymously?
It was not supplied anonymously to the Labour Party. I wrote to Robin Cook when he was Shadow Health Secretary because I thought he ought to know that there was a waiting list of 6 months for kids like
so
ours.
Robin Cook was perhaps to blame, do you think? Or?
I'm not naming names or pointing fingers.
Let me go to Clive Soley. Clive Soley is a Labour MP who at the moment is trying to get a bill through Parliament. Your bill will do what, Clive?
It's a press freedom and responsibility bill because, frankly, all of these cases show what the problem is in Britain. At the same time as there's been a serious erosion of press freedom in Britain, there has also been a sad drop in journalistic standards.
How do we balance this up?
Particularly on accuracy.
On one hand, we don't want the press to be tied by the government. The government have no business telling us what we can see, read, or hear. But on the other hand, as we've seen today, we're not talking about celebrities, we're talking about ordinary people here. How can we stop the press? I'm not aiming at Paul's newspaper here, but I'm saying the News of the World do have their share of stories every weekend.
The first thing you need to remember is that the electronic media, television and radio, is regulated, and they behave much more responsibly, and nobody goes around the world saying Britain doesn't have a free television radio system. I am saying that what the press needs is to report news accurately, not only for the Mr. and Mrs. Bennetts of this world, but also for the ordinary citizen. It is our right to expect news to be reported accurately. And what I want is an independent body to correct inaccuracies and also to report on the ethics of the press and also the freedom of the press. And
James,
that's what my bill does.
Right. Can I come back there for a second? That Clive wants a statutory complaints body. The Broadcasting Complaints Commission is in fact just such an organisation. Last year it found against the broadcasting media in 2.8% of complaints. The voluntary self-regulated PCC found it in 3.1% of cases.
Yes, but what would you do? Say Diane's case here, where they have written some pretty unkind things about her going to see the Yorkshire Ripper, and it has made her look quite a strange. You don't mind me saying that, do you? Quite a strange person. I mean, where do we as members of the public get accountability from the press? Where can we come along? I've seen, little 2-inch bits in the paper saying, we're very sorry, we mucked up somebody's life and we'll try not to do it again.
But with all due respect, if she decides to go and see the Yorkshire Ripper, she should expect that kind of image. I mean, it's a very strange thing to do. A lot of women would think that a very strange thing to do.
Is it a strange thing? Are you a bit strange?
Well, it's as part of research, but could I just tell a little story?
You're trying to make money out of the Yorkshire Ripper, is that what you're trying to do?
No, I don't make money out of dead girls. No money.
But, I mean, you're going to write a book and you're going to sell it? You're going to make money?
No, no book.
No book?
It's professional research.
You just like to see him?
No, I work for a number of authorities, but could I tell a little story just to illustrate this? A journalist called Broadmoor Hospital and said he was a friend of a patient, a woman who suffered memory loss, and he'd like to visit. He hadn't seen her for many years. The journalist didn't say he was a journalist, neither did he say he had a concealed camera in his pocket.
So he gave
visited,
you the complete...
No, he visited this patient, again and again and again,
I've got
waiting
only
until
30 seconds left, Diana.
waiting until well.
Let me go. I want to just quickly go to Max Clifford. Max, could you help or would you hinder somebody like Diana?
Well, you can't generalise, you see. You have to take every case on its own merits. But obviously, a lot of people come to me looking for guidance when dealing with the media, because that's what I do. You know, if you take up tennis, you get coached by a tennis coach. If you get involved with the media, then you should work with a professional.
Could you, if you could sum it up in about 10 seconds, give, as you can hear, the music Whale On is nearly whale off, and we'll be back next week at the same time. Could you give them any tips or hints?
Well, I, as a lawyer, couldn't give them any hints at all because the law doesn't help them.
No, but Max, sorry, I was talking to Max.
Sorry. Max, after you.
Could you help people sort this out or not?
Can you help? Sorry,
Can you help them deal with the press better, Max? Yes,
well, of course you can.
You see him after the show, okay, and we'll sort it all out. Thank you very much indeed. We're back next week.